Civil society leaders filed multiple criminal complaints against Vice President Sara Duterte and 15 others over the alleged misuse of 612.5 million pesos in confidential funds. A coalition of priests, academics, rights advocates, and journalists lodged the complaint before the Office of the Ombudsman on Friday afternoon, December 12. Among those who filed the complaint are Father Flaviano Villanueva, Father Roberto Reyes, and economist and former Finance Undersecretary Shelo Magno. The complainants allege that respondents committed plunder, bribery and corruption of public officials, malversation, graft, and betrayal of public trust.
We call upon the institution of the Ombudsman to put an end to this mockery of the system of checks and balances as enshrined in our Constitution. We fervently hope that our charges of plunder, malversation, bribery, graft and corruption, betrayal of public trust, and gross violation of the Constitution be upheld against Vice President Sara Duterte.
Naniniwala po tayo na with this petition for the Ombudsman to do further investigation, in fact, mas makakalinaw to sa lahat. Lalabas ang facts, lalabas ang ebidensya, at mas makakalinaw ang taong bayan kung paano nga ba inabuso ang pondo ng
Ma'am, yung pagbubukas ng mga bank account, gaano ka-importante po ito para po sa inyo?
Importante yan kasi dyan mo makikita yung flow of money.
Aside from Duterte, the respondents named in the complaint include former officials of the Office of the Vice President and Department of Education and several John Does. The complaint alleged that the 612.5 million peso confidential funds were diverted, misused, and concealed through coordinated schemes carried out across the OVP and DepEd. Duterte was DepEd chief from 2022 to June 2024. Broken down, the amount covers 500 million pesos in confidential funds allocated to OVP in 2022 and 2023, plus 112.5 million pesos during Duterte's time as DepEd chief. In September 2024, Marikina 2nd District Representative Stella Kimbo confirmed that the 125 million peso confidential funds of the OVP in 2022 was spent in just 11 days. INQUIRER has reached out to the camp of the Vice President for comment. Chinese ships swarmed the Philippines' regular aid mission for fisherfolk off Scarborough Shoal on Friday, December 12. Philippine Coast Guard spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore J. Tariela, confirms that a Kadiwa mission is ongoing in Scarborough. Scarborough Shoal is locally known as Panatag Shoal or Bajo de Masinloc. Sea Light Director Ray Powell says he observed BRP Cape San Agustin and 6 other Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources vessels arrived as close as 30 nautical miles east of Panatag on Thursday afternoon, December 11. But Powell notes the Philippine ships have since repositioned overnight to 70 nautical miles southeast of the shoal. According to Powell, 6 China Coast Guard and 10 maritime militia vessels were also in the area to match this fleet. He says the Chinese vessel's presence is meant to aggressively enforce its exclusion zone around the shoal. Powell describes the situation as the new normal at both Scarborough Shoal and also off Palawan. He points out that China is essentially determined it will shadow Kadiwa missions to assert its jurisdiction within its supposed 10-dash line. Since its effective takeover in 2012, China has enforced what experts call an exclusion zone enforcement around Panatag Shoal, preventing fisherfolk's access. Through its 10-dash line, Beijing claims sovereignty in almost the entire South China Sea. But Manila brought the matter to an international court, which effectively ruled in favor of the Philippines' sovereign rights in 2016. The arbitral tribunal also declared Panatag Shoal a traditional fishing ground for the Philippines, China, and Vietnam. Malacanang says President Bongbong Marcos does not want a half-baked anti-dynasty bill, which is why he ordered Congress to study it carefully and address its loopholes. House Speaker Boji D and House Majority Leader Sandro Marcos jointly filed anti-dynasty bill on Wednesday, December 10. Critics have said the bill falls short of the Constitution's mandate as it only limits political dynasties rather than prohibit them. In a briefing on Friday, December 12, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro emphasizes the need for the measure to be thoroughly studied through proper debates and exchange of suggestions.
Kaya nga po hindi dapat minamadali ang pagsasagawa ng batas. Dapat inaaral, tamang pagdidebate, tamang pagbibigayan ng kanilang mga suggestion, opinion at saloobin ay dapat nadidinig, hindi minamadali. Even during the LEDAC meetings, sinabi po ng Pangulo, no, ito'y araling mabuti at kailangan maipasa sa pinakamabilis na panahon. Pag sinabi nating aralin, ibig sabihin, hindi minamadali, half-baked, hindi ganun ang nais ng Pangulo.
Last Tuesday, December 9, Castro announced Marcos's order for Congress to prioritize the passage of the Anti-dynasty bill, among other measures. The president himself comes from a political clan. His father and namesake, Ferdinand Marcos Sr., was the longest-serving Philippine president and ruled the country as a dictator under martial law. His son, Representative Marcos, is currently serving as the representative of Ilocos Norte's 1st District, while the president's sister, Amy Marcos, holds a seat in the Senate. President Marcos's cousin, Martin Romualdez, also took the helm of the House speakership before he resigned due to issues of corruption related to flood control projects. According to Castro, the chief executive wants to stop the abuse of power and strengthen Filipinos' rights to choose their leaders. Senate Committee on Finance Chair Gatchalian is hoping Senator Dela Rosa will show up in the bicameral conference committee meetings on the proposed 2026 national budget. The bicam meetings are scheduled for December 13 and 14, where senators and House lawmakers will reconcile differences in the budget bill. In an online press conference on Friday, December 12, Gatchalian says he can only hope that Dela Rosa will find time to attend the bicam meetings since he was listed as one of its conferees.
Sana member conferee siya, no? So I hope na magka-time siya na mag-attend ng bicam. So we're supplying yung kanyang mga staff ng information, nagko-coordinate kami sa staff niya. So I hope makakapunta siya.
Dela Rosa has been absent from the Senate since November 10. He is part of the 11-member panel of the Senate in the bicam as Vice Chairman of the Finance Committee. Gatchalian says Dela Rosa's inclusion in the panel was automatic following Senate tradition. Gatchalian was designated Chairman of the Senate contingent to the bicam, while 10 others were named as members. Senator Jinggoy Estrada was also initially listed as part of the contingent but later withdrew his membership. In the case of Dela Rosa, he did not resign as Finance Committee Vice Chairman, hence his automatic designation as a bicam conferee. However, Gatchalian notes that when the budget measure was being deliberated on the Senate floor, Dela Rosa sent him a message requesting him to defend the budgets of agencies assigned to him. Gatchalian could not say yet what would be the committee's next move if Dela Rosa fails to participate in the bicam meetings, but he notes that existing rules do not specify a required number of bicam conferees. The finance panel chief stresses that Dela Rosa can't participate in the bicam remotely.
So unless magre-resign siya, then ang rule ng committee is kung vice chair ka, automatic kang conferee. We don't allow online, so physical presence talaga.
Dela Rosa stopped attending Senate sessions and hearings after Ombudsman Boying Remulla's pronouncement that an international criminal court arrest warrant was issued against the senator. The alleged warrant was reportedly in connection with Dela Rosa's role in former President Rodrigo Duterte's war on drugs.